They've done and gone too far, you guys. The rumor going around now is that Chili's is going to be shutting down.
All right, go watch his video. Talks about how Chili's may be shutting down. To clarify, they won't be shutting everything down, just a few restaurants. Same with the Red Lobster. Red Lobster's not completely closing. They already closed down like a bunch of restaurants. I think it was like 80 something. Luckily, in my area in Colorado Springs, we still have ours. So if you're in this area, you should probably have your fast food. But realistically, when it comes to like the Red Lobster stuff, I think that Denver just has better options. But let's get to the root of this. I think it's a two-sided thing, okay? So I'm one of those people, I don't eat out that often. Now, I had Chili's on Mother's Day because I took my partner out, and it just sounded like a good idea, and their menu pricing was right, and their president/CEO put out great PR about saying how you could go get a $10 burger over at McDonald's, or you could go to Chili's, enjoy a sit-down, and have a burger plus fries and the rest, and they were right. It was actually not bad. We ended up buying a lot of extras, so the ticket was more than I would have wanted, for a regular meal, but we got extras. We got a lot of extras. Also got, unlimited drinks as well, that kind of thing. So not alcoholic, just regular like soda, which I'm finding harder to get at restaurants. But let's dig at this, why it's happening and how restaurants are spinning it. Why is it happening? Well, part of that is because a lot of us can't afford to eat out anymore. But also, remember all that boomer advice telling us to stay home and make our own coffee, eat our own food? Well, we did. A lot of us did. We don't eat out that much here because we make our own food. As a result, that means the restaurant's not making money. As a result, that means that's jobs that my age group is not supporting, not because we don't like the servers, but because we were told that if we couldn't eat out and, we couldn't afford it, we shouldn't do it. So we said, okay, fine, we're not going to. We're not going to do it. And that's created a problem. First it was nobody wants to work. Now it's our generation is killing restaurants. And we're not. We're being more responsible. The other side of this, it's funny, and I'm going to loop a non-restaurant on this, which is Family Dollar. But you hear all of these saying that they're slimming down operations, not because the economy's bad, because there was another video I watched that actually got me to get this video and stitch to it, but not because the economy's bad. They're not saying that. They're saying the economy's absolutely fine. But they're saying it's an issue of operational costs and labor. Now, I believe I did a video about Red Lobster before where they were making it seem like the staff were unavailable so you couldn't get the unlimited shrimp because that was an issue. But, Red Lobster itself, they've lost, in 2023, they lost $11 million as a result of their unlimited shrimp promotion because people heard about that. Obviously, if I hear about unlimited shrimp, and I normally don't eat out, I'm going to go get my fill there. Now, I got taken out for my birthday. I did, really partake in the unlimited shrimp. I get the same thing I always do. But it was apparent people were having problems. Some people could not pay their checks because their servers were purposefully not coming by the tables. But the problem is that it's bad business, not management. I'm not going to blame the management of these restaurants because the managers of these restaurants are good. When I went, the poor manager there was just getting dumped on, and he was doing the best he could with what corporate handed him. But when you look at how these businesses are ran, they just don't know how to make money anymore. They can't make things affordable anymore, and so it's on you and me to keep them in business. But their main talking points are always things where it's usually one thing, but they mask it with one or the other. So in the case of Red Lobster and Chili's, it's generally an issue of underperforming locations. It just means those locations aren't making the money they expect them to, which is fine to admit. They should be admitting that. Underperforming locations are going to happen when you oversaturate the market in areas that don't have a lot of competition, and you have 4 or 5 locations. Starbucks saw this. Starbucks, early on, there was a game you could play on Twitter before it was X, on Twitter where you took a picture down a main road. Here in Colorado Springs, it was downtown. You take a picture down the main way and see how many Starbucks show up in the singular shot. And I think at the time, downtown here, it was 4 or 5. That's bad. That's oversaturation. Some companies do look out for that. Trying not to make this video too long, but some companies do watch out for that. Dutch Bros needs to make sure not to oversaturate. They're going to become the next Starbucks. But it's oversaturation. Then they cite things like labor costs. It's costing too much to pay the workers. It's not, though. They just need to balance things better. And in the case of Family Dollar, if you didn't know, Family Dollar closed down a bunch of locations. They claim it's labor and shoplifting. But it's neither of those. It's underperforming stores, and it's them trying to make too much money by doing the wrong things is what it is. So I hear these excuses all the time. Is it sad we're going to lose our locations? Yes, but maybe it'll reinvigorate some of the remaining locations to slim down and be better. A lot of these places can reduce, what they're charging, or keep the prices the same, provide better value, pay their employees more, and maybe take less profit. But a lot of these companies' presidents want nothing but profit. One restaurant that I support and think is great is the Country Roadhouse, I think it is. because their owner during COVID made sure his employees got paid. So Texas Roadhouse, I think it was. I'm getting it wrong. Sorry, I'm getting the name wrong. It's one of those. I screwed that up entirely. But point is, it's one restaurant. I'll try to get the name in comments if I can remember what it is, but we went to it the other night too. I can't remember this. Anyway, that owner made sure to get his people paid during COVID, and that's important because not a lot of people are doing that. So anyway, what are your thoughts on the restaurant situation? Are you buying the excuses they're giving? And when is the last time you ate out someplace that you actually enjoyed? And what's your favorite restaurant? All right, did a cut and came back. I couldn't just leave it hanging there. It was Texas Roadhouse. That is the restaurant. So that is the steakhouse I support. Anyway, previous questions still apply. Thank you.